You think yourself some tough guy, constantly talking about Sikh extremists.
A group of Khalistani Sikh extremists attempted but failed to lure me into an ambush. I believe this was a coordinated and premeditated plot to do me harm, and the main suspect plotting against me is not even a Canadian. Over the weekend, I flew to Vancouver to do my routine on-the-ground journalism at a public event taking place in front of the Vancouver Art Gallery, organized by a group of people who want their own country called Khalistan. Now, you might be asking why we have people here in Canada advocating for something on the other side of the world. Well, that's because the group has a history of terrorism in India, and Indians don't like separatism and terrorism. Also because Canada, out of all countries in the world, is the base of world's most influential Khalistani organization, the World Sikh Organization. I've been covering their public demonstrations since last year, from the US to the UK, New Zealand, and across Canada. The majority of the time, we have no problems. They do their event, I report on it, end of story. Now, one of the criticisms I get from people sympathetic to the Khalistani movement is that, quote, I'm invading Sikh spaces and demonizing a community, when all I do is simply showcase the fact that they are celebrating acts of terrorism like suicide bombings and assassinations. But the most important fact is that the organizers of those events make me personally aware and invite me to give coverage, even though they don't like my editorial. So it's not only that I have a right to be there, but my presence is actually welcomed. However, sometimes there are multiple groups involved. Some are affiliated or straight out self-admitted members of terrorist entities like Babbar Khalsa, which is responsible for suicide bombings and high-profile assassinations. So not every group is in agreement about my presence there, and some don't want me near their events at all. So they resort to violence and intimidation tactics, which are totally wrong and illegal, but it is what it is. We live in the jungle. As you know, the G7 is set to take place in Alberta next week, and Prime Minister Mark Carney invited Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi as a guest, which outraged the Khalistani lobby because they hate India. So this event over the weekend was critical for me as a journalist because I wanted to measure their response to the invitation. But I was not able to do that because a foreign national who's not a Canadian citizen, whom I filed police reports against before, who has been doxing my whereabouts, using dehumanizing language and threatening vigilante action against me, happened to be at this event. And they tried to do what they said they would do: vigilante action against me. He approached me, introduced himself, and said he wanted to interview me about my editorial in relation to the Khalistani movement. He strongly insisted that I follow him to a quiet corner so that he could interview me. I insisted that he can do so right here, right now. I'm not going anywhere out of the vicinity of police with someone who has made threats of vigilante action against me.
Are you ready to do an interview? Can we walk around the corner and do an interview with you?
We can do it right now.
Come, let's go.
No, right here.
No, it's a bit loud.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, I know,
let's
but
do it right here.
with the audio, you well know. Let's go around the corner.
You want to do an interview? Let's do it.
Let's go around the corner.
Okay, let's do it.
No, let's go around the corner.
No, I'm doing it right here. Why would I go around the corner?
Because it's loud.
I don't trust you. You have threatened me before.
He argued that the area was too loud. So I walked a little further away from the noise.
Right here is okay. Right here is fine. You want to do it right here or not?
But he was still insisting that I go all the way with him to a quiet corner. Now, this is someone who has no microphone, no camera, and no history of interviewing anyone. I have not seen him interview even one person. So he pulled his phone out and started to interview me, but it was clear that this wasn't an interview. Rather, it was him making defamatory statements and not allowing me to answer. And funny enough, after about a minute, he put his phone away. And now it's not even an interview. But unbeknownst to him, the camera on my neck was rolling the whole time.
That's a great point. Dehumanizing language. That's our language. Now, what about your language? What about your language that refers constantly? What about your language that refers constantly to the Sikh community as extremists? Well, the first thing you did is try to act like a victim. The first thing you did is try to pretend you're a victim.
He kept on trying to provoke a reaction out of me to justify assaulting me with his 4 thugs in groups of 2 watching from the vicinity. I would take a step back, he would take a step forward. I asked him repeatedly to keep his distance, but he kept advancing. Here are some highlights so you can judge his character and intentions for yourself. And keep in mind that there are people out there thinking what he did was right and justified, which is sickening.
Look, you're coming towards me. You can't keep a distance. You don't need to be distance. You don't need to be distance.
I can tell you're frightened.
I'm not frightened by you. Who are you? I'm going to be frightened by you.
The first thing you did, if you're not frightened, this is when you walk around the corner by ourselves right now.
Is it okay to say we're going to ambush and kill Modi's politics?
Ambush and kill Modi's politics.
And who's saying that? The people who claim to be descendants of the killers of Indira Gandhi.
So you think
that's questionable?
So you think that is in the same category as extremism? We've seen families murdered by white extremists. We've seen jihadis. We have seen jihadis commit terror attacks. And you think, if you put your hand on me, if you put one hand on me, it will be the last. It will be threatening. No. If you threatening, you're touching me.
At this point, I decided to walk away because he was making threats of physical violence while advancing toward me. As I walked away, 2 of his buddies stepped in front of me and blocked my path toward the police. 2 other men were watching from the corner, and they were wearing the terrorist entity Babbar Khalsa's insignia.
No, I'm very calm. Don't tell. Listen.
Look at your distance. You're closing your distance.
You seem very scared. You seem very scared. It's okay. This is just how men interact sometimes. Especially men. Especially men interact. It's okay. It's okay. Good. I'm gonna tell you all about it. I don't know. You think you're some sort of tough guy, constantly talking about Sikh extremists. No. Listen.
At this point, I decided to use my iPhone, which has a micro lens that can capture my entire surrounding. As soon as I pulled my phone up to their face, all 4 of them turned away at the same time and started walking off. I never saw them again. They completely left the event, which is very suspicious. Keep in mind that Jasveer assumes that the recording just began at that time and not before, because you will hear him gaslighting me in front of the police to protect his buddies.
Introduce yourself. Introduce yourself.
You keep walking. How can we have a conversation?
Look,
you keep walking away.
No, because you're coming too close. You're coming too close. Your buddies just approached me. You said if I put a hand on you, it will be the last. Like, come on now.
If you do touch me,
and if you do touch me, what do you think is going to happen? You're not going to have any problems? You think you're immune?
Yeah, I know you'll run to play victim. You'll run to him that campaigns and play victim. Listen, make sure you play this, yeah? You are constantly...
He continued his rant, following me as I tried to get away. Eventually, a police sergeant saw this guy blocking my direction and getting in my face. That's when the unhinged individual reached out and grabbed my phone out of my hand, which disrupted the recording. Keep this in mind too. He is going to deny that he grabbed my phone out of my hand.
Keep a distance,
We got
buddy.
distance. We
You
got
need to
distance.
keep a distance.
We got distance.
No.
The point is,
This is not how you talk. This is not how you
demonizing-
communicate.
You are demonizing the Sikh community.
I am not demonizing anyone.
Encouraging violence towards a
You
minority
need to grow up.
community.
What is your age?
No.
How
Don't
old
worry
are you?
about my age.
Are you a
Don't worry
citizen
about
of
my age.
Canada?
Look, can
What the hell?
He started ranting to the police, telling all sorts of lies about me to justify why I shouldn't be allowed to do my journalism. He is so unhinged, and I'm so disappointed that the police didn't arrest him when he grabbed my phone and continued to invade my personal space.
But you can't maintain.
You said let's do an
You just
interview.
grabbed my phone.
You just said let's do an interview.
I didn't say that you wanted to do an interview. I didn't say that you wanted to do an
You're
interview.
screaming and running like a victim. You're telling me about how
Buddy,
scared
you can't
are.
keep your
You
distance
keep
from
talking about
me.
how scared
You can't
are.
keep your distance.
You're meant to be interviewing,
You and
aren't
your
we?
buddy
You're meant to
surrounded
be
me.
answering.
Constantly talking about Sikh extremists.
Is anyone near me? Is anyone near
You
me?
just grabbed my
No,
phone.
show,
You just
show.
grabbed my phone. Moments
You're
ago.
playing victim. Oh, no,
Look,
it's
you need to
not
keep
that.
your distance.
You can
You
run
need to
around
keep
the
your
internet
distance.
demonizing the community.
I'm not
But
demonizing
now,
anyone.
now when you're
Listen,
face to face, you're playing victim. You
Can
run
you,
to
like,
the police.
how are you
No,
okay with this? Can you get him off of my
no,
face?
It's okay. What am I doing? Is I'm asking a question. Okay, leave. Go.
Yeah, I'm done.
Can
You
leave?
leave.
Because he's causing problems.
Officer.
Okay, then I can so can I. And now you're playing victim.
Are you
So
a
do
Canadian
want an
citizen? Are you a
interview?
Canadian citizen?
Do you want an interview?
Are you a Canadian
no,
citizen?
I'm not. I'm proudly not.
He's not
It's
even a
okay.
citizen.
Oh no, that's a great comeback. Well done.
You need to-
Now we
you
need
need-
to interview. You said you're doing an interview, and suddenly
I
you're
don't
playing
want to
victim.
talk to you.
Because the
You came
questions
to
are
me.
too hard for you.
No,
Is
you
that
do not
right?
have to keep your
The questions
distance.
are too hard for
Because
you.
you don't know how to
The
keep your
questions are hard
distance.
for you.
Okay, bye.
In the end, the police told him to stay away from me. But being a serial harasser, he just couldn't do that. Throughout the event, he kept following me around, appearing next to me. I would stop, he would stop. If he walked past me, he would walk back. Finally, he disappeared for a moment after giving a
They
speech.
call us extremists, they call us violent, yet they stand amongst us unharmed. Because this is a movement, Sanghaji, of love.
When I finished the recording, I turned around, and he was standing right behind me.
Right behind
At that point, I decided to call 911 because these officers on the ground had no idea who I am or about the previous police reports I have filed regarding this serial harasser. The police took further notes about the continued harassment but wouldn't lay charges at the time. He was allowed to walk free. I was provided with a police escort to safely leave the area. If you want to show thugs like Jasveer Singh and his Babbar Khalsa affiliates, go to mediabizirgan.com/donate to show that Mocha is not alone and his work will not be interfered with. Thank you. Now, this incident went viral on social media. Lots of people sent messages of support and encouragement, condemning the thuggery I was subjected to. Before I close, I want to make something very clear. I am not an agitator. I am a journalist committed to ethics and facts. I am open to being challenged about my editorial. I have given interviews to Khalistani channels and reporters. I have answered their questions and in turn asked mine. There is a way to communicate with people even if you disagree with them. It's called being civil. But based on this individual's social media posts, planning vigilante action against me to hinder my ability to do my job as a reporter, his intention was not to interview me at a quiet corner, but to ambush me with his 4 thugs. I believe this to be the case because a legitimate journalist would have a track record of interviews, a microphone, at least a camera, and wouldn't be harassing me and threatening me with violence. Why did he put away his phone after 1 minute? I think I survived the plot because at all times I was in control of my emotions and mindful of my surroundings. Since they couldn't lure me into a quiet corner, they tried to stir up physical confrontation right there. As you can see, all 4 suspects turned away as soon as I pulled my phone out. They were together. This was planned. These guys were not looking to interview me, but to do me great harm. Anyway, I would like to respond to one question he had. Not that he would understand. His worldview isn't based on reason, but on religious devotion. and he's not interested in my answers anyway, but for the viewers who don't know. This will help you understand this person's intellectual capacity and his caliber of judgment. He was asking me about my use of the word extremist. Like, you think this is normal? You think celebrating the assassination of India's Prime Minister Indira Gandhi with bullet holes on her effigy out in the open on a Canadian public road with assassins holding rifles, isn't that extreme? Brandishing swords and spears toward counter-protesters, making throat-slit gestures, isn't that extreme? Glorifying a human bomb who killed a dozen people, extreme? Normalizing child suicide bombers, just a little extreme? No, it's all good, because in extremism there is a justification for every action, no matter how abhorrent. And if you don't agree, well, then you're either a racist or an Indian spy. G7 is next week, and they are planning to ambush and kill Indian Prime Minister Modi's politics. They are coming to my province, Alberta. I'm in the process of hiring multiple experienced and licensed bodyguards, but I need financial resources as this could cost upwards of $10,000. But given the ambush I survived and the volume of death threats I've been receiving since, it won't be wise for me to go cover this event unless I have proper security. This is your time to show that I'm not alone. This is your opportunity to show to them that there is a strong community behind Mocha's back, and the news he covers matters, and his work not to be interfered with. I know this is a large amount of money, and I need people with resources to step up. You can donate at mediabazirgan.com/donate, or you can contact me at pr@mediabazirgan.com. Thank you for your support, and thank you for watching. Have a wonderful evening. Or have a great, good morning, whichever part of the world you're watching. Take care.